The Bachelorette is back, and we're recapping everything you need to know about last night's premiere.
Let the journey begin.
Plus, we sat down with the Bachelorette herself, Thurston, and she revealed her favorite limo entrances.
I love my cat so much. And then he has these ridiculous jokes that made me laugh. He's handsome. And honestly, he was the first name I remembered by heart.
Plus, we pick who we think should be getting Katie's final rose.
I really like him, but he's gonna be the one who goes pretty far, and you think he's like the front runner, but then like she sends him home like and blindsides him and like blindsides all of us.
We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, welcome to Here for the Right Reasons. I'm here with co-host Sarah Huron, senior editor here at Us Weekly. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Mandy. Are you so excited? The Bachelorette is back?
I'm so excited. We have so much to get to. We have to say Christina's out because she had a beautiful baby boy, Lucas. So excited for her. And she just couldn't be here, you know? I guess having a baby is more important than recapping The Bachelor with us. The Bachelorette.
I mean, I know Meghan Markle gave birth, but for us, the royal baby was Christina giving birth. So, congratulations to her. I'm sure she'll be tuning in on the, in between taking care of a human, but,
I'm
priorities.
sure she'll watch, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely watch our show, of course.
Of course. Hi, Christina. I know you're watching. But yes, The Bachelorette is back. Katie's season kicked off last night. So let's get right to it. And we're going to do something a little different. We're going to kick it off with our Bachelorette buzzwords. Yeah. So something that sums up the episode for you. So Mandy, what was your word?
It had to be sex positive. I mean, I felt like that was the entire theme for the entire episode. Katie has been very clear since she was on The Bachelor that she is very sex positive. We know that her entrance was a vibrator last time. And she doesn't hold back. And, I kind of like it. She's very real about everything. And we saw a lot of the guys had entrances that kind of reflected that as well. And they know that she's all about talking about sex, being open about it. So what do you think?
Yeah, we're going to get to Katie's sex positiveness also because, of course, I asked her about that.
Yep.
And you teased that we spoke to her at the top of the show. But for me, it's a tie between pun because we also talked about, you mentioned the guys were playing into her sex positive thing, and that was through puns, it seemed to be, which Katie liked. I think puns are like really corny and kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But they're playing to their audience, who is Katie, and she likes puns, so that worked. And nervous. I thought that a lot of guys were talking about how nervous they were.
They were. And I thought she was nervous. Like, I actually heard her voice shaking a little bit at one point. And I get it. I would be like dying if that was
I would be too, especially in the beginning when she was standing there by herself and she kind of thought that she was going to be alone, which I'm sure we'll get into because that's kind of wild to me. But yeah, I thought nervous and a lot of puns and, like you said, sex positive.
Sex positive. So getting to sex positive, you were able to sit down with her this week and ask her all about that and why she wanted to be like that this season. So take a look.
Another theme seems to be, obviously, you're very sex positive Bachelorette. That came up a little bit. Was that something important for you that you wanted to represent and also to help you find your husband?
Yeah, you'll see it incorporated throughout my journey, conversations around sex, because it is important in a relationship and it's important to be with me, to be able to talk about those things. And if you're not ready to talk about sex, you're certainly not ready to get married.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the contestants, reveals they might be a little inexperienced, a virgin. How was that does that affect your decision with anyone, or were you just happy that they wanted to talk to you and be open with you?
I will say you'll have to find out how that relationship goes, but I was pleasantly surprised.
So yeah, I love that about her. We'll see. I'll see how far it takes her this season, though. Like, I don't know how much we can hear about that all season long. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Is it gonna get
I will say it's a nice way to show that the franchise is kind of embracing it and moving forward, because it's funny to have Kaitlyn Bristowe there, who was like a pioneer in being a sex positive Bachelorette. But when she was doing it, it seemed like the world was, not embracing her. Yep. So as kind of annoying as it got a little bit, maybe with hearing that over and over again, it was nice that at least it was like a conversation in a positive way versus like a slut shaming thing. I'm happy we're over that.
Yeah, I thought about that too with Kaitlyn Bristowe. She was the first person who I think did she have sex before the fantasy suites? Something like that happened. Yeah.
Vile.
And she was shamed definitely for it. So I'm sure, hopefully her and Katie will have some kind of sit down about it at some point. Yeah.
What did you think of Tayshia and Kaitlyn stepping in for Chris Harrison?
I have a lot of thoughts. My first thought is it was a little too gimmicky for me. like, I love a good Bachelor gimmick. I love it, you know, here and there, maybe one or two in an episode. I just felt like everything was so like when Katie was giving them the thumbs up or, you know, the thumbs down on people and then them eating the popcorn and watching. It was just like, okay, like, you know, I wanted it to be a little bit more real. I wanted them to have conversations with Katie, and I felt like we didn't really see that.
Yeah, I think that in the beginning when they first showed them and they were kind of doing their clearly like their scripted stuff of being like, we're here for Katie and whatever, and then they broke character though at the end and Caitlin was like, we crushed it. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to see. I want to see the candidness. I think they're both really funny, smart. Obviously, we've been through this process, you know, somewhat successful. We know Caitlin's not with Sean anymore, but they were together for 3 years. Tayshia's still with Zach. Like, they are kind of probably some of our popular Bachelorette leads we've had in the last couple of years. Yeah. So I think it's great that they're there, but it was a little gimmicky. But I did kind of like watching them watch the guys because that felt relatable. But we didn't need the popcorn. Like, yeah, I agree. That was a little much.
It was just a little. I was like, all right, we get it.
You missed the comparison?
What? I did a little bit. You know, I just missed what I like about Chris and what I didn't like about them is I liked how he was part of Bachelor Nation, but also like the grandfather. You know what I mean? Like they're so in it that it's like, it's nice because you have their perspective of someone who's actually done it before. But I wanted like the narrator, you know, like the voiceover, the narrator throughout the show that Chris kind of gives you. So I'm not saying it needed to be Chris, but someone who just was kind of like a little further back, maybe.
That's interesting. I will say, I mean, it definitely felt a little different, but I didn't necessarily miss him. And I think I'm really going to be interested to find out, like, if the ratings do suffer, like people were saying, just because, you know, you boycotting or whatever you feel, like, he doesn't do that much on the show. Like, he's an iconic host for sure, and he
doesn't do much.
You know, coined all those lines. Yeah, like, I get it, but he doesn't do that much during the episode. Especially like night one, like I feel like it almost gave us like less of a distraction. Like we were just with Katie and the guys a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll feel it more during the season.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we didn't hear from them a lot later in the show either, Tayshia and Caitlin.
We didn't. We definitely didn't.
Right? Like I feel like it was in the beginning and then it was like we didn't really see them again that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll get more of them. So speaking of first impressions, Katie also dished with you on her first impressions of the guys. She talked a little bit about her favorite limo entrance, her least favorite. So let's take a look at that.
In the premiere, we see, you know, Greg stands out to you. He gets the first impression rose, but we also see some connections. I think it was Justin got the first kiss. You have the cat was definitely made a move on you. What about Greg made you, or Greg gave you the first impression rose over the others? Sorry.
What I loved about Greg is he was just true to himself, which was this like very nervous, very uncomfortable guy. You know, he didn't try and act cool or like be this guy that he's not. He was just like, this is me and I'm really freaking scared. And I thought it was really endearing, you know, and I could tell as long as he opened up, there was something more there. And so I thought, you know, giving him the first impression rose would give him that validation of, I'm into you, let's figure this out.
I definitely saw a connection there with Connor B, the cat. What can you tell me about why you liked Connor so much on night 1 too?
Well, first of all, he's dressed as a cat and he did his research on me. I love my cat so much. And then he has these ridiculous jokes that made me laugh. He's handsome. And honestly, he was the first name I remembered by heart. Like I was like, I know him. Connor the cat, that's what I called him. And he's just a great guy.
Your favorite limo entrance?
Connor B, the cat.
Do you have a least favorite? I know that's a hard question.
Oh gosh. The RV was probably my least favorite.
I was going to say, what turned you off more, the RV or the blow-up doll?
The RV. I'll take the blow-up doll any day over that RV. That RV was so scary.
Okay, so her favorite was Catman. What did you think about that entrance?
Again, playing to Katie's strengths, right? Like, I actually used to have a cat, and I love cats. Like, I'm not saying anything about cats. But that, to me, was a little cringe, and I was like, okay, no. And when they were, like, making out, and he was fully in his cat costume, I was like,
weird. And she was a cat. All of a sudden, she was a cat.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy, a little weird to me, but she liked it. So good for him, honestly, for, like, playing into it. Clearly stood out. She remembered him. She brought him up a few times during our interview. But I like Greg for being, like, super honest and, like, being nervous. I don't like the gimmicks as much. But like I like a Connor C who gave like the Little League glove because he's a baseball player. Like, so you get like something to represent you. But I don't like
something. What would do you know what your entrance would be if you were on the show?
Oh my
God.
God.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
That is such a good question. I have no idea, but I would probably try to come up with something that like represents me that's like they'll keep and you can kind of like reference. Like when like Cassie Randolph, this is, you know, they didn't end on great terms, but when Cassie gave Colton the butterflies and they could keep talking about it and like represented like her and her journey and how she felt about it and it was cute. Or like when Peter gave Hannah the wing because he's a pilot. Like I like when they do something like that.
It reminds you of who they actually are and not just like, you like cats, so I'm going to dress like a cat.
Right. Or like, I don't like the costumes.
What's weird to me about the costumes is that they keep them on all night.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, maybe you changed before you actually go into the house. Obviously, the producers aren't letting them, but it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But it is a way to get remembered.
Yeah.
Because like the box, I was going to say, was like really stupid and my least favorite. However,
guaranteed
him a moment. Yeah. To like have his reveal. So like good for him.
I know. And he was cute.
Yeah. He was really cute. And she told him, I think that's who she named her best dressed. So.
All right. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite or least favorite entrance?
Yeah, I think I liked, well, I definitely disliked the hug, which I'll get into when we get to that. So my favorite entrance would go to the ball pit in the back of the pickup truck. I believe that was Trey. And I just, got to give it to him for creativity. I thought that was fun. And then how they went back into it later on, it kind of shows his playful side. It was fun. I'm into that one.
Joke about balls, which, Katie would like to.
Yeah.
I do like when they go back to things. That's true. That's a good point. That makes things memorable.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the thirst.
Yes. The thirst was real. It always is on the show, which is why we keep coming back for more, right?
Yeah. And actually, it was like there's a thirst about Instagram, and then there's like the straight up thirst for like wanting some. And these guys had both a little bit. Who stood out to you as your like thirstiest moment of the night?
So, for me, the underwear guy, I didn't understand that. I didn't get it. I was like, where's the punchline here? I just don't get it.
I did not like that at all. And then it was so weird that they were like passing it around the house. I was like, this is gross.
Disgusting. And then the weird poem, the sexual poem. First of all, we got to get rid of the poems on Bachelor and Bachelorette. Like, no one comes up to you in a bar and recites a poem.
No, they don't.
No. And it was all super sexual, which I understand that's her thing, but it was strange to me to have this guy recite this whole poem. It was thirsty and weird to me.
I totally agree. For me, it was Kody and his blow-ups, although I can't. And the fact, I loved when Tayshia was like, I hope it doesn't have a name. And then he was like, it's Sandy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, like, which it makes me think back because Christina and I spoke about this. It's like sometimes these limo entrances, you are like, oh God, I'm never going to like that guy. But then they end up being like so great. Like Adam of Adam and Raven brought like that mini Adam and it was so cringe, but now we love him.
Right. I forgot about that.
So you can't judge a man by his limo entrance, even though that's the point of the show.
I always remember Carly too, like Carly and Evan. Carly came in and she sang a song, and she may have been in a cupcake or something. I think
remember. She was like a cruise ship singer, so she had like the fake like sing thing, or like JoJo with the unicorn head. Like you wouldn't think that about her. So JoJo. I know we love JoJo, so it's like it's a cringe moment sometimes, but I think it's just the pressure of coming up with something. But then they also, people have their one-liners. So like Justin, the painter, who I actually really like.
I like him.
I liked his little pun about stroking it out with the paintbrush. At least it had the sexual innuendo, but it also paid off because he is a painter. He was kind of funny when he pulled out the paintbrush. Like that to me was a good mix of silly, sexual, funny, and clever.
I agree, and he's actually a really good painter.
Yeah, and he's cute.
That's decent. I would hang that in my room.
Sure. Give us a painting here, Justin, for our new sets.
Well, my best line goes to Christian. Let's take a look at his.
I don't know if there's a genie in here, but I'm hoping we can rub one out together.
Yes, please.
Okay, so his was the genie lamp, and he said something about let's rub it out. It gave me a chuckle. It wasn't drawn out. It was like just a little something that, it was cute.
Yeah, and again, playing to Kody. She likes this stuff. She likes puns. She likes sex. She likes silly. And I gotta give, even though, like I said, it's a little hard to relate to because I was like, this makes me cringe and would want to hide. But for her, it's something she's into. So that's good for them for doing their research.
Absolutely, I agree.
But on top of that, there is some cringe. So let's talk about our cringe moments of the week because I know you mentioned the hug.
The hug with Gabriel, I didn't get it. And the problem with it is, like, if you're gonna do something weird and cringeworthy like that, you need to like smile after it or laugh. He just went in with a total serious face the whole time. So I'm like, I'm not like, that's just not my type. I'm not into like a super serious person who can't he just seemed to take himself a little too seriously for me.
Yeah, the hug was uncomfortable, and Kody didn't really know what to do either. And I never like when they go too touchy for the intro. Like, I don't like when they try to steal the first kiss like that.
Times.
It's totally. It's COVID, everything we've been through in the last couple of years as a society. Like, maybe don't like go for the grab in the beginning. I don't know.
No, I know they've all been quarantined, but still, This was like too much PDA right away.
Totally. Yeah. For me, it was Jeff's RV. That also kind of was my least favorite entrance too, but I was saving it for the cringe moment because
it was cringe.
I mean, cringe. Bringing the RV that I don't know if he was actually living in it, but either way, it was like messy and appeared to be, which was weird. Like, you don't clean your room or your RV before you want to bring the Bachelorette in it, or national television, by the way.
Yeah.
And I don't think he meant bad with like the joke about the iced tea, but it was just like poorly done, and it's not going to play well on national TV. Jeff, I'm sorry.
I was like, what is he saying, that he's not like slipping her something in the drink?
I think that's what he was saying.
I was really confused by the iced tea and the sad looking veggie platter
and the celery, the iced tea, the boxers. It was just a no from me.
I know. I felt bad for him because I think, he was probably led on by a producer to, for this RV moment. Like, he probably really does have this RV and this is like his hobby. He's probably a perfectly fine guy, but it was just produced to make him look like a total creep.
Yeah, it was something that's never was going to play well on television, and it's hard to have the foresight, I think, but that was my cringe. But also that random fight that broke out between Kody and Aaron. What the heck was that?
I felt like I was watching the wrong episode for a second. I was like, did they accidentally play a clip from next week's episode? Like, how did that happen already? Obviously, these guys must know each other, right?
Right, and we tried to do some digging. So far, all we know is they're both living in San Diego, which I know Cody's actually from the New Jersey area, but lives in San Diego now, and they're both like 26, 27, so they clearly maybe they interacted before the show because he was saying, I don't like you, meaning they have a past.
No reasoning. Yeah, there was no reasoning. I needed more there. I feel like that was a moment that I would need Chris Harrison to swoop in and figure out what the deal was. Where were Caitlyn and Tayshia?
That's actually a good point. That would be a good moment to have someone step in, or even like send Kady in and be like, there's like a fight breaking out. Like, she didn't even weigh in on it. So I don't know if they just cut it out, but they must have kept it in for a reason. Like, is that going to play out at some point? So they want to like show us in like the previously on?
Yeah, I feel like we didn't see it in next week's episode, but they did like a whole season preview. So I'm sure we'll see more next week.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one. But I mean, we've mentioned so many of the guys already. There's so many. It's so hard to even know their names and try to remember. But who did stand out? Your Us Weekly Rose. Who was your front runner during the premiere?
So I know you're going to hate this, but it was Catman. I don't even like
Catman. I mean, for Kady, totally. They had a connection. That makeout was intense for night one.
And when he took off his cat ears, he was super cute, I thought.
Yeah, he's cute.
Yeah, I just needed the cat ears gone. And I felt like she liked him, and I felt like he was a little quirky, and maybe they had a similar sense of humor. I was shocked he didn't get the first impression rose, though I'm happy she gave it to Greg too, because he was shy and it kind of gave him that validation. But yeah, I don't know. Catman, I think he's going to go far.
I think he is too. I will say about Catman, the only thing that kind of turned me off was in the way, because like, the first scene of the introductory packages was like him in the bathtub naked with his like guitar. And then we found out he was a teacher. And I was like, if I was an 8th grade math teacher and that was my teacher, I'd be like, sorry, Mr. Catman, I don't like this.
That's strange.
Right? A little weird. Okay. But they totally had a connection. I agree. I think he's going to go far. But I got to go with Greg. I mean, the first impression rose with the Bachelorettes, the pattern says they always go far. A lot of times they even win. I totally saw the connection there. The mention of him looking like her ex-boyfriend, while a little weird, maybe a sign.
That could be. She's definitely attracted to him, I would say then.
I also really liked Brendan. He was the hot firefighter hockey player, and I just thought he was cute.
Yes, I liked him too. I also liked the guy with the fake British accent,
oh yes, Andrew S. I think that's Clay Harper's cousin.
No way.
Yes, little Bachelor Nation tea for you.
That's a good fun fact. Bachelor fun fact.
Who do you strongly not want to see stick around very long.
I think the RV guy for me, and the underwear guy, just I'm not into it.
Yeah. I mean, Katie made good decisions, I think, on her cuts because like Jeff didn't make it. But for me, something about Thomas, he's really, really cute. But he reminds me of Josh Murray, and it was freaking me out. Like, I feel like he's hiding something, and that's total just me. I have no information on him. He just kind of, he made me nervous. But he's really cute, but I don't trust him.
I understand. It's, intuition.
Yes.
So since last night was the premiere, let's both predict who we think is taking home the final rose this season. We have to stick with this decision for the rest of the season, so no backseas, unless they get kicked off.
Unless we have to start fresh. I'm sticking with Greg. I'm sorry. He would have gotten my rose because I thought he was most genuine. The first impression rose, like I said, it's a thing with Bachelorette specifically. They know what they want. He was super honest, and she brought him up during our interview. I think she also called him the best kisser on Good Morning America, which you can't, you don't want your winner watching to see you call someone else that, although I think she said someone, she had to compliment the other guys too. But I'm sticking with Greg. What about you?
And I also feel like the first impression rose so many times wins.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Catman Connor.
Catman Connor. All right.
I feel like they had a connection. But I was going to say, I think as a curveball, it'd be cool if it was the Virgin, just because she's so sex positive.
Right. Virgin.
Yeah, maybe.
I like that. I also want to say, Justin, this is a prediction I think Justin, who got the first kiss, I really like him, but he's going to be the one who, total guess, like, goes pretty far, and you think he's like the front runner, but then like she sends him home like and blindsides him and like blindsides all of us because they're gonna fizzle out because they have like that immediate connection.
Yeah, the immediate chemistry.
Throwing that out there.
Yeah, I can see that too. All right, well, we have a big season ahead of us.
I can't wait to find out.
I know. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, and we'll see everyone next week. Make sure to stay tuned every Tuesday on our YouTube channel for new episodes of Here for the Right Reasons.
Yes. Bye, guys. Bye.